Did you know that Zeus turned into a swan, a bull, and even golden rain just to get his way? Greek mythology is filled with heroic battles and divine power struggles, but what people don't talk about enough is how absolutely scandalous these gods were. The stories you're about to hear aren't just myths. They're the kind of ancient gossip that would make even modern reality TV look tame. Buckle up, because things are about to get kinky in Mount Olympus. When it comes to scandalous behavior, no one tops Zeus, the king of gods and master of questionable dating strategies. You've probably heard about the swan incident with Leda, but that barely scratches the surface of Zeus's transformation game. This divine player turned himself into an ant to seduce a nymph named Eurymedusa. Yes, an ant. I guess size doesn't matter when you're the king of gods, but wait, it gets better. Remember that golden rain I mentioned? Zeus literally turned himself into a shower of gold to sneak into Princess Danae's bronze chamber, where her father had locked her away. Talk about making it rain. The result? Perseus, the hero who later beheaded Medusa. So next time someone tells you Greek mythology is just about noble heroes, remind them that one of their greatest champions exists because Zeus decided to get freaky as precipitation. And let's not forget Europa, another victim of Zeus's shape-shifting seduction tactics. This time, he became the most beautiful white bull anyone had ever seen. Europa, impressed by this magnificent creature, decided to climb on its back. Rookie mistake. Zeus immediately charged into the sea and swam to Crete, where he revealed his true form. And that's how Europe got its name, folks. An entire continent named after a woman who got catfished by a god posing as livestock. Now, Aphrodite might be the goddess of love and beauty, but she was also the queen of drama. Her marriage to Hephaestus was arranged by Zeus, and let's just say she wasn't thrilled about being hitched to the divine blacksmith. So what did she do? Started a steamy affair with Ares, the god of war. But Hephaestus wasn't as clueless as everyone thought. He crafted an invisible, unbreakable net and caught the lovers in the act. Instead of dealing with it privately, he invited all the male gods to witness their shame. Picture the ancient Greek equivalent of a viral scandal. The gods gathered around, pointing and laughing while Aphrodite and Ares lay there, literally caught in 4K. Even for immortals, that's gotta be awkward. Speaking of awkward situations, let's talk about Pasiphae and the cursed bull of Crete. Her husband, King Minos, received a magnificent white bull from Poseidon, which he was supposed to sacrifice to honor the sea god. But Minos thought the bull was too beautiful to kill, and kept it instead. Big mistake. Huge. Poseidon, being the petty god he was, didn't punish Minos directly. No, he decided to curse Minos' wife, Pasiphae, with an uncontrollable passion for the bull. We're talking about the kind of attraction you can't swipe left on. Desperate for a solution, she approached Daedalus, the legendary inventor, with the weirdest commission ever. Build her a hollow wooden cow she could hide inside to... Well, you get the picture. The result of this bizarre union? The Minotaur, half man, half bull, all scandal. And where did they keep this evidence of divine punishment? In the labyrinth, naturally. Because when you've got a monster nephew from your wife's divinely engineered affair with livestock, you don't exactly want to show him off at family reunions. For the god of music, poetry, and prophecy, Apollo sure hit a lot of wrong notes in love. Let's start with Daphne, the nymph who literally turned herself into a tree to avoid his advances. Instead of taking the hint, Apollo made laurel wreaths his symbol. Talk about not being able to read the room. Or in this case, the forest. Then there was Cassandra, who Apollo blessed with the gift of prophecy in an attempt to win her over. When she still rejected him, he cursed her so that no one would ever believe her predictions. Imagine giving someone the ability to see the future just to spite them. That's some next-level toxic behavior right there. But wait, there's more. Apollo also fell for Hyacinthus, a handsome young man who actually returned his affections. Finally, a win for Apollo. Until he accidentally killed him with a discus throw. The god turned his dead lover into a flower, because apparently that's just what Greek gods do when they're dealing with relationship grief. Now let's talk about one of the most messed up stories in Greek mythology, the tragedy of Medusa. Before she became the snake-haired monster everyone knows, Medusa was a beautiful priestess in Athena's temple. Her fatal flaw? Being too attractive. Poseidon, being his usual charming self, decided to force himself on Medusa right there in Athena's temple. But instead of punishing Poseidon for defiling her sacred space, Athena cursed Medusa, turning her hair into snakes and making her gaze turn men to stone. Talk about victim blaming. This is literally the ancient Greek version of, what was she wearing? The story gets even worse. Later, Perseus was sent to behead Medusa, and everyone treated him like a hero for killing her. So the woman who was assaulted got cursed, hunted down, and beheaded, while both Poseidon and Perseus got to be celebrated. If that's not a commentary on power dynamics, I don't know what is. If you think modern celebrities throw wild parties, wait until you hear about Dionysus. The god of wine and ecstasy traveled around with his own entourage of satyrs and maenads, hosting what can only be described as ancient raves. These weren't your average wine tastings. We're talking about full-blown orgies that would make even HBO blush. But Dionysus wasn't all fun and games. When King Pentheus tried to ban his worship and parties in Thebes, Dionysus drove the king's own mother into such a frenzy that she tore her son apart with her bare hands, thinking he was a mountain lion. Remember this the next time your parents tell you to tone down your parties. The god did have his romantic moments, though. When he found Ariadne abandoned on an island by Theseus, he not only married her, but made her immortal. See, sometimes the party boy is actually the good guy. Everyone knows the story. Hades kidnapped Persephone. Demeter threw a fit that caused global winter, and a compromise was reached where Persephone would split her time between the underworld and Earth. But here's what they don't tell you in the PG version. Persephone went from being under her helicopter mom's constant surveillance to becoming the powerful queen of the underworld. And unlike Zeus, Hades was actually faithful to her. When a nymph named Minthe tried to seduce him, Persephone turned her into the mint plant. Nothing says, "back off my man," like turning your rival into a garnish. Plus, that whole pomegranate seed thing? Some versions suggest Persephone knew exactly what she was doing when she ate those seeds. Maybe she wasn't such an unwilling bride after all. Sometimes a girl just needs to rebel against her mom by marrying the Lord of the Dead, you know? Zeus wasn't just into the ladies. He also had his eye on Ganymede, a Trojan prince so beautiful that the king of gods just had to have him. So what did Zeus do? Turned into an eagle, snatched the boy up, and made him the divine cupbearer on Mount Olympus. Now, cupbearer might sound like a fancy word for intern, but this was actually a highly coveted position. Ganymede became immortal, got to live among the gods, and was even placed among the stars as the constellation Aquarius. Talk about an impressive career move, from mortal prince to eternal celestial figure. Hera, Zeus's wife, was not impressed with her husband's new favorite, but honestly, at this point, she was probably just tired of Zeus's shenanigans. At least this time he didn't turn into a farm animal. Before we had Instagram influencers obsessed with their own image, we had Narcissus, the original self-obsessed hottie. Poor Echo, a nymph cursed to only repeat the last words spoken to her, fell hard for him. But Narcissus was too busy staring at his own reflection to notice anyone else's existence. The story ends with Narcissus literally dying because he couldn't stop looking at himself in a pool of water. Echo, heartbroken, wasted away until only her voice remained. Next time someone calls you narcissistic for taking too many selfies, just remember, at least you're not literally dying from self-admiration. You think your breakups were messy? Let me introduce you to Hera, Zeus's wife and the goddess of marriage, who turned revenge into an art form. Every time Zeus had an affair, which was basically every other Tuesday, Hera would unleash absolute chaos on the poor mortals involved. Take Io, for example. After Zeus turned her into a cow to hide their affair, Hera sent a gadfly to chase her across the world. That's right, death by infinite insect bites. Then there was Semele, who Hera tricked into demanding to see Zeus in his true divine form. Spoiler alert, mortals can't survive seeing gods in their true form. Semele was literally burned to a crisp by her boyfriend's godly glow. Let's not forget Callisto, who Zeus seduced while disguised as Artemis. When Hera found out, she turned Callisto into a bear, because apparently in ancient Greece, turning people into animals was just divine couples therapy. So there you have it. Greek mythology isn't just about epic quests and heroic deeds. It's a divine soap opera filled with scandals that would make modern celebrities blush. These gods weren't sitting around discussing philosophy on Mount Olympus. They were too busy chasing romance, plotting revenge, and turning people into various animals and plants. Really makes you appreciate your own relationship drama, doesn't it? Which of these scandalous stories blew your mind the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into divine drama, smash that like button and subscribe for more mythological mayhem.